match, prestige, not to mention tens of millions of pounds at stake as Rangers against PSV in the first leg of their Champions League playoff match with Richard Foster, Stephen Thompson and Liam McLeod.
Yeah, the scene is set here at Ibrox, the crowd just about to get ready to go, the players lined up as well as that famous anthem booms out at Ibrox in the background. This place is just about ready to go. Last season's Europa League finalists aiming to end a 12-year Champions League hiatus. It's the fourth time they've been drawn with PSV Eindhoven in UEFA competition. In the 6 previous meetings, Rangers have won 3, PSV just the once, albeit that was the last one, with the other 2 drawn as Rangers look to move into the group stage of this tournament. But this is a tall order for them. Last season's Eredivisie runners-up, PSV Eindhoven, they missed out on the title by just 2 points, finishing behind Ajax, who they have actually beaten already, thrashed them in the Johan Cruyff Super Cup at the start of the season, a game that Rangers Europa League star Calvin Bassey was sent off in on his debut. The Rangers team tonight, one change from last week's second leg against Saint Gilloise, with the uber-experienced Stephen Davis coming in for Scott Arfield, McLaughlin in goal, Tavernier, Goldson, Sands and Barisic, Lawrence Davis, Lundstrom, Tillman and Kent either side of Čolak. Of course, Čolak and Tillman very much on the score sheet last week, the latter scoring the decisive goal that took Rangers through to this glamour playoff. It's Benitez, the new signing in goal for PSV. They have a back thrower of Jordan Tays, Andre Ramalho, Brazilian, who faced Celtic when he was at Salzburg a few years ago. Obispo and Max, the German international at left back. It's Sangare, Veerman and Gutierrez across the middle. Saibari and Gakpo either side of Luuk de Jong, who was playing for Barcelona last season, 31 years of age. He has a couple of goals already, including in their weekend win over Go Ahead Eagles. Rangers were in the goals as well here at the weekend. They beat St Johnstone. But these games against their Dutch opponents are season-defining. This crowd knows it. Rangers will kick off in the rain in Glasgow. They've been turned by PSV. They normally like shooting left to right in the second half of games. In this first leg, that's what will happen in the first half. Rangers in their blue shirts, white shorts, black socks with the red tops, left to right as we watch from the Bill Street main stand. They'll shoot towards the Copeland Road end. PSV in their equally famous red and white stripes, black shorts, red and white socks. Rangers kick off. First touch goes back the way to James Sands, who ships it to Goldson, who pumps it long towards the PSV box, and it will sail over the head of Čolak and behind for the goal kick. You would expect the opening stages of this game to be utterly frenetic. This place will be electric as long as Rangers are in the match, and that's exactly what they want to be. They want to be in the tie going into next week's second leg, and that has to be the first main target, Richard Foster.
Yeah, of course, you know, yes, you've got to use that Ibrox crowd, but don't get overawed by it yourself. Don't kind of get caught up in the atmosphere and run yourself out the game. Just feel your way into this game tonight, use the atmosphere, build your way into it. But you're right, what you said is perfect. Stay in the tie. Make sure you've got something to go over to Eindhoven next week and fight for. Don't leave your tonight and you're 2-3 goals down and the tie is done. I know Rangers can come back from those results, but I don't think they can do it as well away from home. So stay in the tie. I think they'll get a win tonight. I think they'll win 2-1. But as long as they don't get a defeat, I think it's a positive result.
It's in the midfield here. It's just a little bit too high for Gutierrez. They've managed to win it back through to Young, who skippers the team out to this near side, rolled up to Cody Gakpo, who slides away from Tavernier and rolls it back there to the Mexico international Gutierrez, who in turn plays it back to Armando Obispo, another who was on the score sheet at the weekend. Back to the goalkeeper, short ball into the midfield, and Sangare just turning it to Gutierrez to his left, charged down by Lawrence, and then it will go out for a throw-in over on this near side left to drop out of play by Philip Max. the left back, plays it back into Obispo. It's a big switch out left to right to Jordan Tays on that right hand side. He rolls it forward onto Veerman on the halfway line, then out to that far side to Tays again. Stephen Thompson, 2 minutes. The Rangers players' blood must be pumping when they hear this atmosphere inside the stadium.
It's absolutely incredible. It's hard enough to hear you speaking, Liam, but yeah, I mean, it's a phenomenal atmosphere. You just want to get your first few touches out the way, make sure they're good ones, secure a bit of possession. Interestingly, Lawrence has come out to the right hand side, which means Tillman's going to play just as Neil wanted him, in behind Čolak.
PSV winning it back in the midfield. It slipped out to this near side by Ibrahim Sangare, Ivory Coast international. Out to Max, back to Gutierrez, who slips it out to Max on this near side. Rolls it back onto the halfway line for Gutierrez, turns away from Stephen Davis, challenges the PSV number 15 and out for a throw-in on this near side to the visitors. Your manager, Ruud van Nistelrooy, former international colleague of Giovanni van Bronckhorst with the Netherlands for over a decade. They were teammates, played at major tournaments together. As Max takes the throw-in short and gets it back on the near side, he's going to let it trickle out for another throw-in as that came off Lundstrom 3 minutes in. 0-0 in the early stages. It'll be a very slick surface though. The rain has been drizzling down onto it for the best part of the last hour as Gakpo drives towards the Rangers box. Sands with a challenge, important one. It's pushed back by Veerman to the right hand side for Tays. Out to the right flank. An opportunity perhaps here for Saibari, the Moroccan. In comes the cross ball. De Jong's there and he puts it over the bar. He was only 6 yards out. The flag's gone up anyway, but it has to go down as a warning for the Rangers defence. It stays 0-0, 3.5 into this first leg.
A warning's exactly what it is, isn't it, Richard? I mean, the quality of the ball in was fantastic, but you look at De Jong's movement to get in front. He was kind of surrounded by Rangers players, but it was him that managed to get in front of them at that near post. And really you're expecting it to hit the back of the net. He clipped it and it just went kind of foot over the bar. But yes, an early warning, not only about the quality of the delivery, but also about De Jong's movement in that box.
Good play by Tavernier down the right, finds Lawrence. Back it comes to Davis, who finds Sands. Sands and Lawrence, incidentally, a yellow card away from missing the second leg in the Netherlands next week. Not that they'll be too concerned about that at the moment, as Barisic rolls it along the grass out to Kent on the left. Now he takes it for a run down the left-hand side, chops onto the left foot, early ball, couldn't quite find Čolak, and it's booted away there by Obispo out to the far side. Tays with the challenge. The Rangers fans want a free kick out there at the side of the box for a handball, which hasn't been given, but Rangers play on. Here's Kent laying it back for Tillman. Flag's gone up against Ryan Kent on this near side. Italian officials this evening, incidentally, it's a very experienced referee, Daniele Orsato, who took charge of the 2020 Champions League final, the delayed one that was played behind closed doors in Portugal, as PSV pick up the free kick over on that far side. 5 in, 0-0.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see from Ryan Kent. First time he gets the ball with a bit of space, go and drive at your fullback. The fullback doesn't get close to him. You know, he looks like he's got him for pace as well, and he goes down the outside, puts in a decent enough ball with his left foot. But that's what you want. So Ryan Kent should now know this guy doesn't want to get close to me. I'm going to get time and space in the ball. If I keep getting at him, he should create Rangers chances.
One of Ruud van Nistelrooy's former managers, probably his best managers here tonight, Sir Alex Ferguson, who had him at Manchester United. He's sitting alongside the Rangers' great John Gregg in the director's box this evening. 5.5 minutes in, 0-0, as the rain continues to teem down. It's picked up over on that right-hand side by Andre Ramalho, the Brazilian. The ball into the Rangers halves, collected over there by James Sands, who calmly rolls it back to John McLaughlin. Be a nervy old night for the goalkeepers, given the slick surface. There might be interested parties in both sides who might fancy a pop from distance, as Goldson moves it back to Sands. Quite the difference in conditions to this time last week when it was blazing sunshine.
It certainly is. Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, a very, very slick surface out here tonight.
Short by McLaughlin. You could hear the gasps from the Rangers supporters when McLaughlin released the pass as De Jong was lurking. He got it to Goldson, comes off the PSV player last, and out it goes for a Rangers throw-in to be taken by Tavernier on this near side. No goals very early in proceedings. Flick by Čolak's brilliant. Comes off Lawrence and it will bounce out for a throw-in on this near side as Max bowls it infield there to Sangare. He goes all the way back eventually to his goalkeeper Walter Benitez, who's arrived at PSV after 4 years at Nice, playing under Patrick Vieira for a spell there as well. Just rolled out to Ramalho, who's under serious pressure from Kent. He's managed to get it to Taze on that right-hand side, but Kent's pinched it back brilliantly. And he rolls it back onto the halfway line for Sands. That's what Rangers need tonight. Here is Lundstrom inside the centre circle. Low ball out to Tavernier on this near side. 7 in. Back to Stephen Davis. Davis has got Lawrence ahead of him. Instead, he just turns it back to Goldson. Possession's fine tonight for Rangers. The scoreline at 0-0. Barisic rolling it out wide left there for Kent. Kent gets a run ahead of him, and Malik Tillman, who's driving forward, going to shake off the defender, who stands his ground. It's Sangare back helping his defence out, and he gets it away. It's only half clear though. Barisic picks it up into the penalty area. He just has it nicked off him at the last moment though. And PSV with a long clearance into the Rangers half, where Goldson will roll it back to his goalkeeper. 8th minute of the game. Rangers 0, Eindhoven 0.
Keep feeding Ryan Kent the ball. That's your tactic right now. The right back doesn't get close to him, lets him get the ball to feet. You've seen it there when he was driving out. Kent comes back and nicks it off him as a fullback. That's horrible when you think you're getting away from the winger, and he actually tracks you all the way back.
A brilliant ball out wide to Kent. Massive switch of play. Kent's kept it in play eventually. Up against Taze. He runs into him, then it comes off the defender. Kent slides in. But it's well defended, you have to say, from Jordan Taze over on the far side.
He'll be
He's got 3
delighted with
caps
that.
for the Dutch. Up against Kent. He wants to win these early battles.
Kent started the game ever so well. He really has. Everything he's done so far has been excellent and sharp. But the defender will be really happy with that kind of 1-to-1 duel win there.
Rangers were celebrating their win over Saint-Gilloise when PSV were still in the melting pot against Monaco. They came through after extra time as the visitors come forward down the right. They smile. Saibari on that far side, level with 18-yard line. A little short ball. He gets it back from Veerman. Low into Sangare. It's a clip ball to the back post, looking for Max, and the goal behind the goal kick. Harmless in the end. 9th minute of the game. It remains 0-0 at Ibrox. Here's Tom Lawrence picking it up deep, back into his own penalty area for Goldson, who gets rid of it under pressure from De Jong. And it drops eventually into the centre circle for Taze. He finds Gutierrez, and out to Max on this near side. He rolls it forward, and there's a misunderstanding between De Jong and Gakpo, and it goes out of play for a throw-in on this near side to Rangers.
I think obviously Rangers want the fast start, they want to use the crowd, but I think sometimes with John McLaughlin, just take this thing out of the game there. I think he starts the game really quickly. Lawrence gets the ball at right back, Tavernier's beyond him. You're kind of all over the shop a little bit there.
It's forced back to Goldson, who has to go long, and then Cholak's get 3 defenders on him.
Yeah, and you lose possession. Whereas just maybe take this thing out a bit. PSV had the ball for a bit. They had an attack. Just let it settle down and then get the ball back in play. But I just think sometimes you can start the game too quickly.
Yeah, a bit too frantic in the early stages of the first leg, perhaps for Richard Foster's liking, as that comes back the way to the goalkeeper. Benitez, he clears it high into the Sandy Jardine Govan stand on the far side. Throw in Rangers, taken by Tillman to Lundstrom. Back it comes over on that left to Tillman, driving forward, but runs into Sangare. You can see he's going to have an important role to play for this PSV side this season. The Ivorian in the midfield, he's back, bailing out his defenders at times. There's that long ball up to Max on this left-hand side, driving forward. It just bounces away from him, though, off the wet surface, and out for a Rangers throw-in level with the edge of the D of their own box. Tavernier taking it quickly to Stephen Davis. Now Lawrence back to Davis, under pressure, he gives it away. He was looking for Cholak. Sangare has it, and now it's picked up by Veerman, and he knocks it back there to Obispo, and out to Max on this left-hand side. 10.5 in, 0-0 here on Sports Sound. Champions League playoff first leg. Rangers are 2 games away from a return to the group stage of this competition for the first time since that 2010-11 season, as Goldson gets it square from Sands and out to Tavernier on this near side. It's back with Connor Goldson. It's such a shaky first leg in the last round against Saint-Gilloise. Rangers rousing night a week ago were able to dispatch the Belgians in the end. Sands collects the edge of his own box. The loser of this tie drops into the group stage of the Europa League, as Goldson, under pressure from Veerman, runs it back to his keeper, and McLaughlin plays it short to Sands. 11.5 in, 0-0. Sands again having to deputise at centre-half. No Ben Davis in the squad at all tonight for Rangers, so not sure if there's a problem there, as Ryan Kent picks up on the left. You would imagine so. He started here against St Johnstone, and given James Sands problems last week in that second leg, and remember he was ordered off at one point. It was that second yellow was rescinded after a consultation with the assistant on the far side. As it's picked up by Tavernier, closed down by Gakpo, and out for a Rangers throw-in. Right level with the edge of the D, the PSV penalty area. As Tavernier gives it to Lawrence, back with Tavernier, he finds Goldson. He gives it away though, yeah, not a great ball by Connor Goldson, and Gakpo trying to get into stride down this near side, burning away from Goldson. Lundstrom trying to help out, Gakpo checks his run, passes it to the right of the D. Opportunity here perhaps for PSV, little short ball to Fearman, the edge of the D, and then it comes through to John McLaughlin, who flops down on the ball at the feet of Jordan Tays, and it stays after 12.5. Rangers 0, PSV Eindhoven 0. That all came from a slack Goldson pass.
Yeah, I just think he needs to give himself a little bit more depth. I think Tavernier likes to go high. Goldson he's only 10 yards away from him. It kind of narrows his angle. He can only go one way. Obviously, he's not a central midfielder. He's not going to take the ball across his body and get out the other side. I just think give yourself a little bit of depth. But you see there the pace from Gakpo. You know, he left Goldson for dead. I don't know who it was that got back. It was Lundstrom, Davis.
Yeah.
I think one of them got back and actually helped him out because Goldson was beaten there just by the sheer pace of Gakpo.
He was forcing the pass, and what Rangers have done in the last 5 minutes is keep the ball well, but they've kept it across their back four, back to the goalkeeper, back into the back four. They've not really managed to get forward. And PSV strikers are basically just sitting off the back four and saying, right, you keep the ball, but then when it goes into the next phase, into the next third of the pitch, they've struggled to really build the play, you know, and that's when Kent becomes such a vital outball for them. But it's all right keeping the ball at the back, you know, that's fine, but when you move up the pitch, there has to be better movement to get players on the ball.
Liam, I think that's one thing we've seen the last two games with Sands and Goldson. When they're left with time on the ball, they step into midfield, and you know they've both been guilty of giving away some slack square passes. So I would imagine PSV have seen that and think, you know, Rangers have got a lot of danger players. The two centre halves, with all respect, are not those on the ball, certainly.
Ramalho cutting out a Barisic ball from inside his own box, prevented it getting through to Cholak, but it's out for a throw-in, which Kent takes quickly onto the knee of Tillman, who's claiming he was fouled. The referee agrees. Free kick Rangers. This isn't a good position. It's pretty wide, just a couple of yards from that far side touchline. It's a bit level with the edge of the D of the PSV Eindhoven penalty area. Real chance to test the visiting defence here. 14, just over 14 in to this first leg. Rangers looking to draw first blood, and they've got an opportunity to do so here.
Yeah, it's all about delivery, and you heard our colleague from the Netherlands before talking about defensively might be the one thing that PSV struggle with. Obviously they're scoring a lot of goals, but they've also conceded 9, so it's a real good chance, but it's all about this delivery now.
Great chance here. Tom Lawrence looks as though is over it. Barisic has left the scene. He's now the deepest outfield Rangers player, but he's midway inside Eindhoven territory. Lawrence over this right foot, he's going to bend it in on top of the PSV defence. Throng of players in the 18-yard line, in comes the ball, it's headed away by De Jong. Really commanding header clear there by the number 9, and out for a Rangers throw-in on the far side, and it's the big striker who takes the pressure off his defenders.
It's brilliant for a defender when the big striker comes back and does that. Fantastic defensive header.
Beyond the 15-minute mark of the first leg, 0-0. Barisic short to Lundstrom, doesn't get the ball back to Barisic though, and then James Sands puts it out for a throw-in down by the corner flag over on that far side. So nothing each. The two managers who know each other so well, arms folded, business-like down below us. Van Nistelrooy with the baseball cap on to try and protect himself from the conditions, the rain continuing to come down. When you talk about modern-day Champions League goal-scoring greats, we think of Ronaldo, Messi, Lewandowski. Van Nistelrooy scored 52 goals in the Champions League outright. 39 of them for Manchester United. And he scored the rest with Real Madrid. Didn't ever win the competition though. We're looking to make an impression on it this season. But it's 0-0 and it's pretty even so far.
Yes.
Ronald de Boer was talking about he expected it to be even in the opening 16 minutes or anything to go by. That's exactly how it's going to pass.
It's been fairly edgy, Liam, yes.
A little loose touch at the back, but it was back to the goalkeeper Benitez, who clears. Just seemed to go underneath Obispo there initially. He recovered, and now it's Sangare. Nonchalant little keepy up away there from Lawrence, and then Fearman. Oh, he smashed it out wide right. There's nobody on the far side. Barisic has been caught out down that right flank. An opportunity here for PSV perhaps. Little low balls, poor though. Really poor from Saibari. Two waiting in the middle. He had the freedom of Govan there over on the far side as Rangers pick up a free kick in the midfield. That takes the pressure off. 0-0, 17 in. No goals as yet. Another little let-off for Rangers there.
Yeah, I mean, the switch of play out to Saibari was absolutely sensational. His first touch takes him a wee bit wide. I thought he'd drive in and try and get his own shot off, and then when he finally is faced up with the recovering defender, he had two players in the box, and instead of trying to pick one out, he tries to flash it across the face, and it was easily cut out in the end. But just another wee warning for Rangers that, you know, this team, especially in that kind of counter-attack situation, are very, very dangerous. Real speed in the flanks.
The problem you've got is the wingers. You know, in most Dutch teams, the wingers, you know, they hug the touchline, they make the game, they make the pitch massive. And as a defender there, I feel for Barisic, because he's got to be connected to his centre-halves, and he can't go out there and stand, because then it becomes a foot race. And that ball's going to be on a lot for PSV, just basically because the wingers will stand so wide.
Rangers have it with Kent on the far side. Good skill, shuffles away from one and then slips it out to Tillman. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Ramalho comes out to meet the challenge. It breaks back to Kent though. He's in the mood tonight. Another couple of step-overs down to the byline, but that's going to be ushered behind for the goal kick by Taze.
He's got the beating of Taze pace. He doesn't have the beating of him strength-wise. He was just ushered out the thing, Richard.
I mean, you know, he has to face him up and try and knock it by him. I mean, Neil McCann, who's sitting in the studio, was the best at it. You don't need a bit of skill, and he doesn't want to get involved in a physical tussle, you know, with a big right back. He wants to be able to just use his pace, knock it by him, and get deliveries into the box.
I just feel Tillman's run there. Leave Kent 1v1. You run into that space, you invite the pass, but you're running out the pitch.
You're taking up his space, yeah.
Yeah, so just leave him 1v1. We can see that he's already got by him a couple of times.
It's a little touch by Gakpo's delightful for De Jong. Good challenge by Goldson, and then Tavernier steps away from one. Didn't get away from the second. The referee blows his whistle. Rangers have a free kick, level with the edge of the centre circle in the PSV half. 19 goalless minutes in at Ibrox.
I'll tell you what, it was nearly a very slick passage of play there. 4 passes and they were nearly at the Rangers back.
A couple of back heels.
Tavernier is over the free kick. Up go Goldson and Sands. And Barisic again will be the covering player, left the furthest back. Tavernier looking to bend this into the penalty area. It's further back than the Tom Lawrence one from the other side of the pitch a few minutes ago. Tavernier with an up and under into the left-hand side of the penalty area. Goldson attacks it. It bounces behind off Goldson. Last says, in fact, the offside flag's gone up. I was waiting to say, it came off the PSV player last, but the flag's up anyway as we approach 20 minutes. Rangers 0, PSV 0. Is Giovanni van Bronckhorst relatively content with these opening 20 minutes?
I would say so, yeah. A couple of threatening moments from PSV, but you're going to expect that with the quality that they've got on their side. Rangers have kept the ball well at times, but haven't really managed to look a threat. That one cross from Ryan Kent, probably the best kind of moment for them so far, but not able to get a shot off yet, and I suppose that's probably going to be the most worrying thing, considering that Rangers are the home side.
Yeah, long ball. Benitez goes all the way through to Tavernier, who will roll it out wide left for Barisic. Only once during last season's run to the Europa League final did Rangers have the first leg of a knockout tie at home. That was against Red Star Belgrade, and they racked up a 3-0 lead to take to Serbia on that occasion. It was in the last 16. Of course, they played Dortmund, Braga and Leipzig at home in the decisive leg. They have come through 2 of the last 3 when they've been at home first. That was Slavia Prague, and they managed to come through the other ones. Braga, the season just before the pandemic hit. Royal Antwerp, as James Sands picks up and rolls it out to Goldson. 21 in. Goldson on this near side, cuts back from De Jong, rolls it back to Sands. Forward to Lundstrom, midway inside his own half. Long ball, looking for Tavernier. Can he find him? Not quite. It just bounces off Max, and then it's booted out on this near side. It's just gone over the line. It'll be a throw into Rangers level with the edge of the D again of the PSV box. It was Obispo who knocked it out, and it'll be Tavernier last season's Europa League top goal scorer, who will be over the throw-in. 21.5 in, almost a quarter of the way through this first leg. 0-0. Tavernier finds Colak, breaks back there up to the edge of the area for Tillman, who kind of scuffed his shot. It's a comfortable save for Benitez. 22nd minute, Rangers with a shot on target. It stays 0-0.
It's a big chance, to be honest with you, Liam, and it kind of bounces off by Colak. I think the defender actually nicked in front of him. It lands at Tillman at the edge of the box, and you're expecting him, he does hit the target, you expect him to do a wee bit better than he did, Richard. It's a really big chance, especially when the surface is like that and he hits it low. Any type of angle at all on it to the side of the goalkeeper, he's in real trouble, but far too straight.
Davis finds Tavernier wide in the right. It's a very, very deep ball, perhaps not what he intended, but Tillman's made it work. He controls it well, rolls it back to Barisic, takes a touch with the left foot, looks up, crosses in, good ball, headed away on the 6-yard line. Breaks to Goldson. A square ball to his left for Davis, who in turn finds Lundstrom. He in turn finds Barisic. Down the line for Tillman. Tillman steps away from one, then pokes it back to the edge of the centre circle for Sands, who shifts it left to right to Goldson. First time back to Sands, first time to Davis, first time to Sands, to his left for Lundstrom, then out to that left-hand side. It's picked up by Barisic, who finds Lundstrom again, and he squares it out to Goldson. Plenty of passes, not coming forward, although they are now. Lawrence out wide right for Tavernier. Tavernier moves into a more central area, squares it to Lundstrom. Rangers patient here, very patient. Out wide left for Kent, takes a touch, crosses in, Colak meets it, might get a second bite at it. He's been forced out wide, and then it comes off Taze, he slices the ball back into his own box before it's hoofed to safety by Ramalho. 23.5 in, Rangers 0, PSV 0. Good little spell of possession this for Rangers.
Yeah, they've dealt with the ball really, really well. They've not just forced it forward, they've tried to work it. It looks like PSV are allowing them to go wide, and so far they've dealt with the cross, but Rangers have got real quality in Kent and Tavernier especially, and I can imagine pretty soon they're going to land on the striker's head. Tillman first time to Colak, spins his man, rolls it back to Tillman, left hand side of the box, dancing around, getting into the area, getting some space, and then doing a little bit too much there, and that's going to be a goal kick. He two waiting for the pullback. Of course, James Tavernier was one of them. The other one was Colak. He just tried to do a little bit too much there. 24 in. It stays 0-0. But a fantastic last 5-10 minutes by the home team. And you can hear what the fans make of it.
Yeah, you're right, Liam. You hit the nail on the head there with Tillman. He does ever so well to wrestle into the box. But then he goes for a kind of step over with the ball. Completely overdoes it. If he just looks to his right-hand side, definitely Colak was on for a cutback. He's just trying to go himself. But you hear the lift that it's given the crowd these last 5 minutes.
Long clearance there by Obispo. It bounces at the edge of the Rangers box and eventually back into the gloves of McLaughlin, who bowls it to Davis. The most capped player in the UK is Stephen Davis. Nobody's more caps than him now. Northern Ireland captain. He continues to perform. 37-year-old as Tillman picks up and he finds Davis. His experience key tonight, that's why he's in the team, as he knocks it out to Tavernier on the near side. 25 in, 0-0. Tavernier moving into PSV territory, finds Davis, now it's with Tillman. Tillman then goes down, no free kick this time, says the referee. Gakpo picks up for PSV and he knocks it there to Saibari. He finds Bierman, now it's back up to Saibari, right hand side. Poor touch, allows Sands to pick it up. Now Barisic out to the touchline for Kent, to Barisic, back heel to Kent. That worked. Kent now finds Lawrence, moving into a little bit of space, down he goes. Referee whistle to lips is allowing the advantage. Tillman in the area, his cross is cut out by Max. Rangers have a corner. They prefer the free kick though, it's right on the edge of the box. The referee decided to allow Tillman the advantage.
I think you can see the referees explaining to James Tavernier that he's like, your man was in the box, he's 1v1, you know, it's a huge advantage, especially with someone like Tillman's quality, and they don't make the most of it, but you know, he's just been absolutely cleaned out.
It was excellent play from Rangers again, though, working the ball from the left-hand side infield, the reverse pass from Steve Davis. And yeah, I mean, I think that you would say it was good refereeing to let it go for Tillman to be able to get the shot off, but
you do wonder because it's at the edge of the box.
Yeah.
You do wonder if it's worth pulling it back, but yet Tillman was in the area, still had lots to do. Tavernier takes the corner, it's Goldson with the header, shout for a handball, off the shoulder says the referee. Remember there is VAR, so if that did come off the hand or the arm. We'll know about it pretty soon. If there is a penalty check, you can be sure they'll be checking it. The referee pointed straight to his shoulder, though. The Rangers fans are howling for the penalty as Lawrence keeps it in play on the near side. Gutierrez goes down, and I think the free kick has been given on this near side for PSV for that foul on Gutierrez. The Rangers players surrounding Daniele Orsato, the referee, just in the wake of that previous penalty appeal 27 minutes in. There's no suggestion that this is going beyond a quick look by the... Well, there is a penalty check ongoing right now. They are looking at it as we speak. So we'll find out soon. Remember, Rangers, the penalty went against them in Belgium. No penalty on this occasion, says the referee. It was a quick check. And it's play on. By the looks of things, the referee's come out to speak to Giovanni van Bronckhorst, and he's pointing again to his arm. He's actually... It was his shoulder initially. He's now further down his right arm, the referee.
Well, maybe he's saying his arm wasn't outstretched, but it certainly looked to be outstretched.
It's a ridiculous decision from the defender, because we can see from here, I think he's actually lucky in that he stretches out his arm, but I'm not sure the ball touches his arm. But what he's doing, because Goldson loses him, and he's obviously thinking, oh no, Goldson's going to head this, and he just sticks his arm in the air. It's a ridiculous defending, and I think he's massively got away with one there, because it's obviously hit him in the shoulder, the referee's pointing to, but a couple inches lower, and that's a penalty for absolutely nothing.
28 minutes played at Ibrox. Rangers 0, PSV Eindhoven 0. And PSV survive a VAR penalty check. The Goldson's header came bouncing back off the defender as Tillman picks up on the far side. Rangers have been the better team tonight so far. 28 and a half in, they haven't managed to find that opening goal. Remember, there is no away goal rule. It's always worth just reiterating that. It was abolished at the start of last season. Most people will be aware of it now, but always worth just repeating that again. These knockout European ties take on a different complexion as a result. As De Jong pulling Goldson's jersey, then when the free kick goes against him, he elects to push the Rangers defender, and the referee summoning both players over to give them a lecture. 29 in, Rangers 0, PSV 0.
Yeah, De Jong had a handful of Connor Goldson's jersey, there's no doubt about it. It's put him under severe pressure. They shake hands, it's forgotten about.
Not by the fans.
I think Goldson actually could release the ball quicker. He allows De Jong that opportunity to maybe nick the ball, and that's what he was guilty of last week as well, in the last 2 weeks.
A few times he's cut back because he's looked forward and not seen an option, so he's cutting back to his goalkeeper, but actually in that occasion De Jong was right on him.
Tavernier tripped by Gakpo on this near side. That is a free kick. The Rangers supporters wanting more punishment doled out to the PSV players for these fouls that are being made as we approach the half-hour mark here. Still no goals as Lundstrom first time back to Goldson on the near side, and he goes back to James Sands. The American finds Lundstrom back to Sands. Now it's with Lawrence. Good little touch that by Lawrence, but sliding in on the wet surface is De Jong to win it back for his team. Now it's back with Ramalho. Goes back to his keeper. Cholak chase it. Cleared by Benitez. First time with a right boot into the PSV, the Rangers half, into the midfield area, where Davis and Lundstrom combine to eventually move it back into the PSV half. It's now with Veerman back onto the halfway line. Sangare finds De Jong. Here's Max. Rolls it wide left for Gakpo. Gakpo's going to attack the Rangers box. Hasn't done much of that yet. Gets the ball in. Cleared by the header from Connor Goldson. It's inside the centre circle with Ramalho. Looks up, right foot clip ball out to this near side. Controlled in the chest by Gakpo. Links it over the head of Tavernier. Brilliant slide challenge by Tom Lawrence. Great recovery, helping out his captain. But it is behind for a PSV corner.
It's a fantastic tackle, but it's unbelievable skill there from Gakpo. The two quick touches, and then Tavernier actually gets sucked in, thinks he can win it. He just nips it away from him, but fantastic.
I couldn't believe he took it in his chest. I was thinking he was just going to header it, and he took that in his chest at about 6'5" in the air, but fantastic skill. Really good tackle from Lawrence.
It's a fabulous talent as Gakpo. PSV's first corner of this game, into the box it comes, headed away brilliantly by Tillman. Kent giving chase on the loose ball, and eventually it's hoofed all the way back by Joey Veerman to his keeper, just outside his box. And Benitez plays it short to Max, and out to this near side to Veerman again. Looks up, long right foot ball, cross field, looking for De Jong. De Jong does win the header ahead of Sands, but he's headed it out wide to that far side, but it's picked up by Tays. Into the midfield here for Ibrahim Samgari, moves it forward, too much on it, and will skite all the way through to John McLaughlin. 32 minutes played, Rangers 0, PSV Eindhoven 0.
Barisic is lucky there, because he shouldn't go in for that long ball, because if De Jong actually just flicks it straight, the winger's in, whereas Sands is up there, Sands is challenging. If De Jong wins it, as long as you're close to the winger, it's not a problem.
Rangers have seen about 60% of the possession so far, but here come PSV with Max rolling it wide left for Gakpo, level with the Rangers 18, he's now level with the 6 yard, gets the cross in, headed away by Goldson, breaks to Tillman, nice little touch towards Kent, but he's not going to get onto it, Sangare does instead, and now it's moved into the centre circle for Gutierrez, who finds Max, who plays it back first time there to Armando Obispo, out wide left. Gakpo's got the nutmeg on Tavernier, driving through, it's more great skill, left hand side of the box, cuts it back, blocked by Tavernier. PSV get another corner, now they've flickered into life, the visitors. 33 in, 0-0.
They certainly have, and I tell you one thing, Gakpo is a serious talent, and Tavernier, on that occasion again got a wee bit done with him. The nutmeg got to the other side, but again Rangers quick to react, and the recovery tackle's excellent, but another corner to defend.
Gakpo with his arm in the air, ready to take and swinger with the right boot in this main stand side, and it's Tillman who slices it back towards his own goal, and it is his great fortune that it falls straight at John McLaughlin. It could have gone anywhere, it could so easily have ended up inside his own net. It stays on 33.5, 0-0, as a panicky ball forward from John McLaughlin immediately follows that very nervy moment.
That's a perfect example of what I spoke about earlier. PSV are grown into the game. Gakpo's kind of coming onto a game. He's got back Tavernier twice. You've defended a couple of corners. One of your players nearly sliced it into his own net. Just take this thing out of the game. You've seen it when Rangers were on top there. PSV nipped in and they gave away a few fouls, made it stop-start. They went down injured. They just understood how to calm the game down. In these moments, Rangers need to do the same thing.
Long ball, Gutierrez, good header away there by Sands. Luke de Jong was lurking. Is picked up by Lundstrom, who knocks it forward to Lawrence. 34 played, no goals. Lundstrom flips it out wide to Tillman on that left-hand side. You're looking at Cody Gakpo, you can see why Manchester United are wanting to sign him. They could be doing with someone like that. He's a real talent. There's some other big clubs circling as well. Ruud van Nistelrooy is very keen, understandably, to hold on to him, at least until they get into the Champions League groups. That's what he'll be hoping, certainly. Goldson rolls it back to James Sands, approaching the final 10 minutes of this first half of this first leg.
What's great about him as well, if you look at his position here, Liam,
it's not bad either from Kent, is it? On the other side now, he's looking for Tillman. Slight challenge is really good. They are just to the right of the defence by Obispo, who's the left centre back. He's covering the right hand side of his defence there as Max collects on the near side. Signs the game's opening up a little bit here as a lot more space for PSV players all of a sudden, as Gakpo turns it back into his own half there for Obispo, and then Max gets it from Gutierrez on the near side, just inside the Rangers half in field to Gakpo. Now Veerman back to Gakpo, nicks it through to De Jong, turns it back the way. He was behind Tays, so the momentum comes out of that attack for PSV. Tays moving it out wide right there for Saibari. Into the midfield it comes for Veerman. It's just to the right of the centre circle. It's been PSV bossing the ball these last 5 minutes, and now Max wide on the left gets the early ball in, and Goldson knocks it behind for a PSV corner. They didn't have a corner up until just a few minutes ago. This is their third as we move towards 36 minutes of this first leg.
Yeah, it's another nervy clearance, but I think if Max just rolls the ball into Gakpo there, he's in the box and he's probably going to get a short goal. It's lucky for Rangers that Max opted to go for the cross. It was a decent ball in right enough, but now the Rangers are defending another corner.
They've scored 5 twice, they've scored 4 and 3 in their early part of the season. PSV, they're good for goals normally. As the corner comes in, drops to the edge of the area, it's a goal, it's in! PSV Eindhoven score! in their best period of the game, and it's Ibrahim Sangare who drives it home. It's taken a deflection, it's rooted McLaughlin, and Rangers are behind in this Champions League playoff here at Ibrox. Rangers 0, PSV Eindhoven 1.
Well, it's definitely been PSV's best spell of the game. Rangers have been dropping deeper and deeper, and PSV's confidence has been growing and growing, and they did not deal with that cross ball from the corner at all well. They didn't get a first connection on it, and when it fell in the box, Sangare was first to react. It wasn't even that good a hit, but he just managed to get it on target, and a really poor goal from Rangers' point of view to lose. But they can't say they didn't have a warning, as Liam points out. 3 corners in quick succession, and PSV pounce.
And he's actually tried that corner on all 3 occasions, just to feather it into the near post.
Yeah.
And he's obviously, the quality for the first two was poor. That one was perfect, and as you say, no one gets a header on it. The goalie's rooted to his spot, to his goal line, and the ball breaks kindly right enough to Sangare, and he kind of scraps the finish. But Rangers are now 1 down.
The Rangers with work to do. They didn't score when they had their period of pressure in the final third. PSV have. That's the difference.
And they never looked like scoring. That was the thing, Liam. You know, they never really, apart from that shot from Tillman from the edge of the box, never really threatened.
Barisic for Lundstrom, and out wide left. Still a heck of a lot of this tie to go. It's not panic stations for Van Bronckhorst yet. And he trails to Van Nistelrooy's PSV. Lawrence out wide right for Tavernier. Early ball to give for Cholak. It was just behind him, and it's cleared by Taze. Chest from Barisic. Barisic moving forward. Good strong play by the Croatian. Finds Tillman. His efforts deflected behind. Rangers corner. Good reaction this by the home team. 7 from half-time. They trail 1-0.
Perfect response, really. Hopefully they can get the ball in the box and cause a few problems. I felt like they struggled against Union with their set plays. I don't know why Tavernier's not taking this. They obviously feel Lawrence has got better quality, but Tavernier's stats fairly rack up.
Yet Lawrence over on that far side. The Rangers left as they attack the goal to the right in this first half. In swinging corner with the right foot from Tom Lawrence. Can Rangers hit back immediately? Referee's ready. PSV have everyone back to defend this. In it comes. Doesn't reach Tillman. Headed away by Thierman. Who's back out to Lawrence wide on the left. Rolls it to Ryan Kent. Looks up. Crosses in. Lundstrom with a back flick header, which the goalkeeper holds on. He's unlucky, actually, John Lundstrom. 39 on the clock. Rangers 0. PSV 1.
Virtually impossible to score from there, though. He's on the 18-yard line with a kind of back flicked header. No pace, really, for him to be able to get anything that's going to test the PSV goal.
Loose ball out of defence by PSV. Here's Barisic rolling it out wide left for Kent. Level with the 18, level with the penalty spot now. Now he's back to being at the left angle of the box, looking for the overlap from Barisic. Sliding in is Taze. And it's out for a Rangers throw-in, which Barisic takes and rolls it back. Lundstrom into the midfield for Davis. Davis then left to right of the circle for Goldson. Hurtling towards the final 5 minutes of the first half. Tavernier for Lawrence. Wide on the right-hand side. Level with the PSV 18. Back to Tavernier. Tavernier then finds Lawrence. Lawrence stabs it to Davis. Works it back to Tavernier in the box. No ball! Goal! Cholak scores! And Rangers are back level! Almost immediately after falling behind. Wonderful build-up play. And Antonio Cholak turns it into the bottom left corner as Ibrox erupts yet again. The hosts back level in this first leg of this Champions League playoff. It is Rangers 1, PSV 1.
It's a goal of real quality, Liam. It really is. The pass from Stephen Davis to set Tavernier free was absolutely sensational. The vision, the timing of Tavernier's run, and then from him to be able to pick out Cholak in the box. And he's a man who's in form just now. That's his 4th in 4 games. And do you know what? He put it in the only place that he could without Benitez getting to it, right in the corner. Fantastic response from Rangers.
Yeah, it's all about the pass from Steve Davis for me.
Aye.
You know, that's why I don't understand why he doesn't play more often. Any control Rangers have had in the game is because he'll take control. He's like the quarterback in the team. He dictates the tempo. He keeps the ball there. He injects the pace with a fantastic pass. To be fair to the left back,
in that situation, you're thinking there's no way he can get the ball in there, and all of a sudden you see Tavernier's now running behind you onto a pass from Davis. Fantastic player, but fantastic pass. That creates the goal, that creates the whole moment there.
The pass oozed class from Stephen Davis as Rangers get a free kick wide on that left-hand side. 41.5 on the clock. Rangers back on terms. And Tom Lawrence is over this one as well, as they look to hit the front here. They were only behind for 3 minutes. Fabulous recovery. Lawrence with the free kick into the box. Little flick towards goal. Another appeal for handball. The referee's not interested in this one either.
I felt it hit De Jong's stomach more than anything. I'm interested to see if it goes to VAR.
We'll be looking at the replays right now. We'll be told, because the big screens on the opposite side of the stadium here will tell us. And it's come off the stomach, so Tom will call it spot on there. And to be fair to Big Stevie, he's up the other end of the stadium. Good spot.
It's my close vision that's poor, not my far vision, Liam.
I'm the same, actually, to be fair.
I think it's called turning 40.
Yes.
I've been over 40 considerably now.
Posey won't be long.
He's already got glasses, he's finished.
I had no idea where it hit him from here.
It's a free kick, I think it's been given to Rangers wide on the far side. It's on the inside their own half as the clock ticks on to 43 minutes. One apiece then. Free kick's right in the halfway line. Barisic turns it back to Sands. It was important, the timing for Rangers. They didn't want to be behind for too long, and it just keeps the crowd with them. Keeps the atmosphere crackling away in the background as Tavernier finds Lundson. Wonderful little flick to Tillman. Wide left for Kent. Kent picks it up. Overlap from Barisic. His cross is cut out, but it's another Rangers corner. And suddenly the home fans sense that their team could go in at half-time in the lead.
That was another really good move from Rangers, working the ball into Lundstrom, the flick round the corner, down to Barisic. The cross was actually well defended in the end by Tezzi, but another chance for Rangers just before half-time. What a moment this would be to score.
Lawrence then to take. He's got his arms in the air. He's taking it short to Kent. Level with the 6-yard line. Now it's back with Lawrence. In comes the cross, headed away decisively by the PSV goal scorer Zangari. There's Barisic again, picking up the scraps, rolling it wide left, Kent. And he goes down. No free kick. Is it? Yeah, no, the referee's given Rangers the ball on the far side. Is that a free kick or a throw? It's just a throw in he's given. The final minute of the first half of this Champions League playoff first leg. PSV in front on 37 through Sangari, cancelled out by Cholak on 40. Here is Cholak, plays it to Lawrence, brilliant play again. Lawrence a little bit too much on it for Tavernier, but the skipper will get there. Level with the 6-yard line, chops back onto his left side, but uses the right foot, finds Davis, and it comes to the penalty area. Two headers there, Lawrence and then Tillman. They can't divert it goalwards. It ends up wide left of the box for Kent. Back to Barisic, good first touch. In comes the ball, Tavernier's header. Lawrence was waiting behind him. It's straight at the goalkeeper Benitez. And as we hit 45 minutes, it stays Rangers 1, PSV 1.
Brilliant play from Rangers. They keep the attack alive. It goes down the right-hand side. Davis puts the ball in. They're unlucky to get two touches, and it comes out to Barisic. A fantastic cross from Barisic. And I just think that Lawrence has got to give Tavernier a shout. He's got to just open his mouth and I know it's
hard though, because he's probably already in the air. I mean, it wasn't too far behind him.
And obviously the noise in the stadium, but I just think he's there waiting for it. Tavernier's stretching, but it can't really get any purchase on the ball, and it comes to nothing.
Cholak goes down, and there's a dramatic wagging of the finger by the referee, the Italian. It's PSV play on. And now it's back with Ramalho, who plays it into the midfield for Gutierrez. And he goes back to his goalkeeper. 1 minute of injury time, incidentally. You probably heard it in the background being announced. We're almost through that, 40 seconds through it, as Barisic goes back to Sands, but having fallen behind with 8 minutes of the first half to play, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst will just be delighted that his team's level going in at the interval of this first leg, I would have thought. And there is the half-time whistle. And the guys can discuss that, I'm sure they will. The timing was everything there for Rangers, because They wouldn't have wanted the half-time interval to fester over being behind to this really skillful PSV outfit who took the lead on 37. Sangare sclapping an effort into the net. It wasn't defended well from the third corner in quick succession. The PSV weren't complaining, and Sangare went away to celebrate over on this near side. But within just over 3 minutes, Rangers were back on terms. Beautifully worked. Stephen Davis unlocking the door. Wonderful ball to the overlapping Tavernier, who cut it back for Cholak, who hit it first time into the bottom left corner of the net. And that was a mighty sigh of relief for Rangers. At half-time then at Ibrox in the first leg of this Champions League playoff. It is Rangers 1, PSV Eindhoven 1.
Rangers in the Champions League playoff round.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
Yes, everyone expected this one to be tight, and so far that has proven to be the case. Rangers 1, PSV 1. Neil McCann, we're watching the pictures come in, we're hearing the guys on the commentary. Real excitement, real drama at Ibrox. Let's go through this, just the big moments one by one. First of all, that penalty call. We're discussing it in the studio on 30, just prior to the goal, 37 minutes prior to that. There's a big shout. Do you think it was the right call from the referee and the VAR officials?
Yeah, looking at it now, it probably hits him on the sleeve, up near the kind of upper arm shoulder area. So you probably think that is the right decision. But like Ricky, I think that there's real intent by the defender. You know, Rangers got a really soft penalty against Union SG with a crazy defensive mistake out of nowhere to get the penalty for Tavernier, and this was equally as bad. I think there's real intent there, maybe not to handle the ball, but certainly to impede the header from Goldson, and I think he's really fortunate to get away with where the ball strikes him.
Your thoughts, Tom? You were discussing in the studio. You think the right call was made?
Yeah, I think so. Hits him on the shoulder above the armpit, which is the deciding factor. Yeah, he is a bit lucky. I mean, it's
crazy stuff, eh?
He doesn't keep his arms down by his side. His arm is up a little bit, and it's a fine margin there. That ball could have hit his arm, but it didn't. So it's the correct decision.
Not long after they go behind Rangers, I think it's fair to say, Neil, dreadful defending. It's unlucky as well the way the ball ricocheted in the box and it fell nice. It wasn't even a clean strike for the goal, but it should have been cleared. Yeah,
I think the first contact is not clear. You always look for culpability, Kenny. From a coach's perspective, you look, say, right, who's not doing their job, because Sangare's in there on his own. I mean, I got the second replay and it wasn't quite clear, but he just walks from a group of players unopposed, alone, ball falls from him, puts it away. I'm looking at Barisic. He's normally one that picks up. Now he drifts onto the back post. My instinct is, I think he should be picking up. I think when the ball's in flight, he then drops off the game. I might be proved wrong because I'm going to watch it on our TV screens here when it comes in, and I'll be able to tell. But my initial gut instinct is that maybe Barisic's supposed to be picking Sangare up, leaves him, and then he's got the freedom of Ibrox box to pick it up. That's really poor, because these are big moments in games. Not too often Rangers have been cut open. I think our possession has been really good, so that means set pieces are all about discipline, doing your job, staying concentrated, and they were punished there.
Yeah, we've spoken many times about Barisic, very, very good going forward, but but just generally, I mean, he is suspect in his defensive role, isn't he?
He can be, yeah. I mean, a few years back people were saying, "Oh, Tavernier amazing going forward," but a little bit iffy and vulnerable in defence. I think some people at Rangers see it the other way around. Maybe see Barisic as the vulnerable one of the two. So, look, I want to see it again. I think PSV got an awful lot of bodies into the box, got an awful lot of bodies around the ball when Goldson tries to head it. Now, it was a bit of a tame header, but I think they do get unlucky with a few ricochets there, and it does fall to Sangare, and he puts it away. I will be interested to see if Barisic is culpable there and letting Sangare go. But they got a little bit fortunate, PSV. Ball just drops on his toe. I mean, and and it's hard to miss.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that one again, but so important in football to hit back very quickly. Rangers did that. We spoke before the game about some of the big calls Giovanni Van Bronckhorst had to make tonight. Tom will point it out right from the start. Stephen Davis giving a starting berth. We discussed that, but we saw his worth. That pass, it was a great move, but that pass from Davis, just talk to us about the move, why it worked so well, Neil.
Yeah, I mean, his vision, he's already seeing that picture, Kenny, before he receives the pass. Now, the pass into him is important because if it's too hard, it means that he might have to take a touch. But it's into him at a good pace that allows him to scan, see the picture. He knows Tavernier's going on the overlap, and then to execute it. Then Ricky likes the Davis pass. I'm all about the assist here because he could smash that across the face of the goal. That's a wonderful pick out. Again, it's a pace, it's on the floor. Čolak, we said, I like him, it's between the posts. Maybe Morelos goes towards the back post. I'm just getting a rerun of this now. I'm wrong, Kenny. Barisic's position is spare. Sangari, though, just walks in. It can't be Stephen Davis, but he looks like the closest player to that area. Now, if Stephen Davis is picking up and Barisic is on the back post, for me that's a mistake. It should be Davis on the back post and Barisic picking up, but regardless, he's free on the box, and that's criminal for a set piece. But going back to the goal with Tavernier to get him back in it, it's a brilliant pick out. I mean, another number for an assist for the fullbacks is sensational. And then Čolak's finish, Tomo's right, that's a brilliant finish.
The one place, Tomo, you were saying, he had to be so accurate, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I mean, I think quite often when the ball comes in like that, it's almost instinct because you've not got the time to look up like you do when you're kind of one-on-one with a goalkeeper and choose where you're going to put it. You instinctively think, I'm going to have to kind of get this towards that far post, but he got it hinged perfectly.
It doesn't look once, not once.
No, I mean, I've been there a lot of times myself. When the ball's coming over, you're focusing on your contact with the ball. You've got an idea of where you want to put it, and he put it in the perfect area because the goalkeeper was pretty close to it. You know, any further in the way, and I think the goalkeeper might have got a hand to it. But a fabulous goal all round. If you think about it, 3 devastating touches of the ball. The pass from Davis, the pick out, as you said, from James Tavernier, and the finish, brilliant. And you know what, Čolak, we spoke about him before the game. And yes, sometimes he does struggle to get involved in the game because Rangers aren't going to go long to him. And he doesn't drop, as Richard pointed out, like Morelos does, and try to get involved and come deep to the game. So quite often, if you're the centre forward in this Rangers team particularly, then you're maybe not going to be involved in a lot of the build-up if you keep your length to the game. But he's proven 4 goals in 4 games, and you know, anybody that had any doubts about his quality, then you know, you've just got to say that is a huge goal of massive importance, and his other European goal was as well. So you've got to say, you know, he's certainly producing the goods so far in a Rangers shirt. 4 goals in 4 games.
He's worked unbelievably hard out of possession.
We were chatting at the picture. You were telling me what he does, for example, that Morelos doesn't do. What he brings.
I mean, Morelos is on it. He can charge about. But this guy really is a team player. And if you've got a set-up plan out of possession to go and press the ball high up, your main forward generally is the trigger. Now, if he goes, it triggers the boys from behind. If he labours or he gets into a position, that's a signal for everyone else to funnel in and get into a shape. But so many times he's taken off and everybody's gone with him. What you don't want to be is a lone wolf, Kenny, because you get picked off and that just disrupts your shape. So I think he's been really important in that respect. Out of possession, I think Rangers have been good. I'm looking at the Gakpo, who's a sensational talent. He's really been frustrated, but surprisingly for me, PSV out of possession themselves are a 4-4-2. Now, that's strange because Gakpo goes to the left and Veerman it's going up top with De Jong. That means that Rangers should have the overload through the middle of the pitch now. Gutierrez is the one that springs and Sangari sits. They just need to be a wee bit clever and more intelligent with Davis, Lundstrom, in particular Tillman, because that's a 3v2 through the centre of the pitch.
So what should they do?
So there's a couple of variations for me there. They can either swing round the back 4 into a 3 and push Tavernier higher, or Barisic higher and go a 3v2 to get out against that. That would give them an overload by giving one of the wide players on the side of the fullback going higher to come in. That gets him on overload there. Or Stephen Davis plonks himself right in between De Jong and Veerman, and they just be brave and bounce it into him. Now, what happens when they bounce it into him? One of the central midfielders of PSV releases onto Davis. Now, that means Tillman and Lundstrom, one of them spare, because only one of the central midfielders can pick up one of them, and that's what I mean. You've got a best player, one of the best players in the Rangers squad that's seen things early, a picture. So if Davies goes in, it's about then just a little one round the corner. That's happened 2 or 3 times now, Kenny, and they're getting in good positions.
I'm interested, Richard, on that. Does that come from the bench? As a player, when you're on the park, do you see that opportunity? There's an overload, you've got the spare man, or does that instruction need to come from the sidelines?
First off, I'm not going to begin to try and describe what Steve Davis sees on the park because I've got no idea, because his range of vision and mine are completely different. But no, that comes from just being quality players, and Lundstrom and Tillman and Davis taking up good positions that allow for those rotations and allow, you know, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst can say in his team talk, we want you to be in behind their midfielders. Now, that's a very general statement and it doesn't work all the time, but the players on the pitch have to recognise when to go into those positions, and you also then have to have the quality on the ball to find them in those positions. And as Neil said, you know, we've seen the one round the corner from Davis for the goal. I think after that one, I think Lundstrom had one with the outside of his left foot. The one player I think is possibly, he's not struggled. I think Tillman, he's kind of flirted with the game a little bit. He's shown some good touches, taken up some good positions, but he's laboured in the ball a little bit. I would just like to see him a bit more like Kent, be a bit more dynamic. Now, I know they're different players, but just, you're not going to get that much time in the ball around that area of the pitch, because I think Sangare for PSV has been excellent in that kind of defensive midfield role along with Gutierrez, and I just think Tillman needs to speed his game up. And I'm looking at the subs warming up and I'm thinking, I think Scott Wright's pace will scare PSV. You can see that Kent really scares him down one side, and I think if you add him into the game, put Lawrence into that middle one, and put Scott Wright down the side, I think that the pace from Rangers could scare PSV in the attack.
Yeah, no, I mean, I actually want to see more from Kent. I know he's getting on the ball, I know he's working hard, but what's the end product? You know, he looks busy, he is busy, he's very industrious, but I just don't think the quality is there. I think he's flatters to deceive. I've always thought that
numbers,
about Kent.
Tom. Numbers are low.
Yeah, the numbers are really low. You look at the Celtic wide players, they're delivering substantial performances, goals, assists, a lot of creativity. Kent does a lot of work. Not questioning his work ethic. I am questioning his end product. But back to the goal. I mean, the goal was an absolute thing of beauty.
Yeah,
it was beautiful.
The assist from Tavernier. I mean,
well, no,
his figures are amazing.
But it's the number of parts to it, right? It's the ball to Davis, which allows Davis, puts Davis, he can play one
pace
touch
pass from Lawrence is excellent.
Pace of pass from
so
Lawrence.
At what point
pace
does
of pass from Davis.
At what point does it click with Tavernier? I go. At what point does he release?
As soon as Davis shows square of Lawrence, that's the trigger for Tavernier to go. Yeah.
It's not just the accuracy of the passing, which is incredibly slick. It's like one touch, goal. Mm-hmm. It's the speed of thought.
Yeah.
And it's Tavernier reading what Davis is going to do, and the weight of the pass. It's one thing to see the pass, fine, but the weight of it to allow Tavernier to run onto it and snap it first time across, and the finish is just sumptuous.
How good is he, Neil, Tavernier? We know what his figures are. Do you think this is a player that Rangers are lucky still to have?
Yeah, absolutely. I think his service to the club has been outstanding. And I'm astounded actually at one of the big guns down south haven't signed him. Someone who dominates the ball. Everybody can talk about his defensive record all you like, but a team that dominates the ball, I think it's madness. You don't look at a fullback whose stats are probably one of the highest in world football. And I can't believe, I think Rangers are very lucky to have him. But what I would taper that with is, I think James Tavernier is very happy.
Yeah.
At Rangers.
Yeah, he's a captain. He's delighted to be where he is.
It's a very good marriage between them both.
And it's like Tavernier, you know, a lot of clubs, you can imagine a lot of clubs in England maybe dismissing him from domestic performances. It's the SPFL. It's only Celtic they've got to beat. But he does it time after time in Europe. Different level of competition against stellar teams now. And he keeps delivering. And I'm with you, Neil. I'm surprised that somebody, maybe it's the age thing, that they won't spend the money, because they have limitless money to spend.
Yeah.
These clubs. but he's clearly absolutely delighted, and this is the last few years for him have been the pinnacle of his career. So why go somewhere where he mightn't be happy, whereas somewhere where he's very, very clearly happy?
Well, it's been a fascinating match so far. Let's get back to the commentary team. Richard Foster, Stephen Thompson and Liam McLeod.
PSV will get the second half underway. The wind and rain continue to sweep around Ibrox. PSV in the red and white striped shirts with the black shorts, red and white socks, left to right in the second half, shooting towards Copeland Road. If you know the stadium and the surrounding area, Rangers with the blue shirts, white shorts, black socks with the red tops, shoot towards the Broomloan Road end of Ibrox as Tillman picks up PSV, giving it away quickly at the start of the second half. No changes for either team at the start of the second 45, which means it's McLaughlin in goal for Rangers, Tavernier, Goldson, Sands and Barisic, Lawrence, Davis, Lundstrom, Tillman and Kent either side of Cholak, and PSV come out the same as they started the game, as well as Cholak wins a header. Down goes Tillman, Singari's challenge, the referee's happy with it though. Cholak wins it back though, and then clips the ball out towards Tavernier, fabulous in the number 9, and Tavernier with the up and under into the box will bounce harmlessly behind for the goal kick. 1-1 then between Rangers and PSV, the second half of the first leg of this Champions League playoff, as Rangers go head to head with a side from the Netherlands for a 23rd time. They've won 9, lost 9, drawn the other 4. Their most recent one was against Willem II. They won 4-0 in that one-legged tie in Tilburg. As PSV come forward to the edge of the Rangers box, there's an attempted shot which comes off the defender from the edge of the area there by the Moroccan Saibari, and it goes whistling behind for the corner over on that far side. PSV Eindhoven corner, 2nd minute of the second half.
Yeah, it's poor play from Barisic. You know, I think he tries to go tight, but at the moment he's trying to go tight. The winger's running in behind him. It's a fantastic ball from Tazi to play it in behind him, but it's poor defending from Barisic.
Gakpo takes the corner short, and then it's rolled back to Veerman. Veerman, a little bit of space, Lawrence closing him down, back out wide left, first time cross comes in, good decisive header on the 6-yard line there by Rangers. It was James Sands, it was brilliantly defended as Davis finds Barisic, who wins the throw-in down on this near side of De Jong, and it stays Rangers 1, PSV 1, 47 played.
It's a really dangerous ball into the heart of the Rangers box, and it was very well defended, and then Stephen Davis tidying up ever so well at the edge of the box as well.
There's Goldson rolling it forward to Lawrence, just goes under his boot and falls kindly for the left back Philip Max. Into the midfield, Sangari has slipped as he released the ball. No, he was fouled, says the referee. He'll bring it back for PSV just outside the centre circle in the Rangers half, left the centre. That slows things down ever so slightly. I mentioned in the first half of the ties Rangers have played recently when they have been at home in the first leg. Red Star and Braga, they lost to Bayer Leverkusen. It's the one they failed to come through out of those 3, but they've generally been away from home, as the free kick is harmless and ends up all the way through to John McLaughlin. 48 played, 1-1 short by the Rangers keeper to Sands. It goes back to McLaughlin, who hits it high with the right foot. Cholak goes to try and win it. Sangari gets there first. He wins the header, breaks down for Tom Lawrence, who goes to ground and wins the free kick for Rangers. It's about 6 yards from the edge of the centre circle, central area. 48 played, 1-1.
I think good play from Lawrence there. He actually just he nearly catches the ball on his way down as well, so great play from him. But Goldson just inexplicably tries to hit a quick free kick and hits the back of the PSV player, and then wants the referee to stop the game.
Yeah, and then Ryan Kent claimed he was fouled down this near side, or rather won the ball legally, and it's gone the other way. It is a free kick to PSV.
They were both grappling, they really were. I didn't see much in it myself, but it goes the way of PSV.
Normally easier to give 50-50s to the defending team at the time, and it was in the PSV half as De Jong pushes Goldson to the deck, and that's a Rangers free kick midway inside their own half. 49 played, 1-1. It's now with James Sands continuing to deputise at centre back for Rangers. Out to Barisic on the near side, to Lundstrom, first time Tillman, lovely dummy, Cholak got to the ground there. Yellow card is going to be flashed there at Obispo, who's claiming his innocence. He was pointing at the ball. That's always the first thing they do, of course. And the free kick goes Rangers' way.
Yes, it's a definite foul. He comes right through the back of him. He actually catches him a little bit as well. A really, really strange, stupid tackle. You know, he was going nowhere. There was nothing in it. And he chose to bring him down, but he now needs to watch the rest of the game. But a silly foul to go away.
Just about to hit on to 50 minutes. Rangers free kick to be taken by Barisic. On this left-hand side, 3 yards from the near side touchline. Then it comes left-footed to the right-hand side of the box. Ramalho heads it away. It's now picked up wide on the right by Tom Lawrence. He's going to let it go out for a throw. Ramalho was the man who played it out as Rangers cross in towards Čolak. Headed away by De Jong. The clearance completed there by Saibari up to halfway, where Madison picks it up and plays it quickly first time to Davis, who almost lost it there. He's done well to recover on the slide. He gets it back to Barisic, and PSV a man down. I think it's De Jong who's, is it? No, they've got a man down beating the surface as if he's in agony, and the ball is played out to allow attention to the visiting player.
Well, it was Steve Davis who kind of almost got the ball stuck under his feet. He was put under severe pressure, and it goes and wins the tackle, but I think it's after he wins the tackle, he just follows through on the ankle of the PSV player.
It's Veerman.
It's on Veerman, yeah. To be honest with you, I don't think there's much he could have done. It was just the momentum of his own tackle, winning the ball.
It's also this desperation that you must put the ball out. He's obviously got a bit of a sore one on the ankle, but it's not a dangerous tackle.
Seen a lot of that this season, where the referee stopped play for an injury that isn't a head knock.
Yeah, I mean, you know, PSV do give the ball back to Rangers, but they would be well within the rights just to keep it and go, well, who's put it out? Although they were all gesticulating for the ball to go out right now.
Sands has it. Long right-footed ball out to that far side for Tavernier, kills it on the chest. Now he's driving at the PSV box, rolls it forward into the box. It's Čolak, saved by the goalkeeper. The low effort was arrowing towards that bottom left. Really strong goalkeeping by Benitez to keep it out, and it stays 1-1 in the 52nd minute.
Yeah, it's a good ball from Tavernier. It's a great run from Čolak and a good strike. And to be fair, the goalie gets down well, but what a pass from Sands that is. You know, that's, I suppose, as a midfielder in defence, that's the quality you should bring.
Olsen fouled by De Jong. Yellow cards coming out again, this time to the PSV captain. Their summer signing from Sevilla.
Well, he's had plenty of
last season. He said, yeah, it was what you see, he's totted them up.
Yeah, I mean, you know, 4 or 5 kind of silly fouls. Again, Goldson steps away from him, just pulls him back, and you could see that coming. But to go back to that chance again from Čolak, the movement in the box is excellent. The pass from Tavernier, excellent. He does really well to get the shot away because it's on a very difficult angle. Force Benitez into a smart save.
One apiece, 52.5 on the clock. Here is Kent on the near side, short to Tillman. He's gone down, and that's going PSV's way. Tillman, as soon as he hit the deck, he grabbed the ball with his hands, as if assuming the referee was going to give it his way. It's gone the other way.
He's actually lucky he doesn't get booked for that, because that's...
I thought he bought the foul a wee bit. I didn't think it was that much of a foul, but yeah, then he grabs the ball.
Deliberate handball. De Jong wins the header meantime, and this is a chance for PSV. It's just wide. Stabbed past by Ismail Saibari. He was in the box, freed himself, and the defender got goal side. He stabs it past that right-hand post, and it stays 1-1. What a chance for PSV to make it 2.
It's so simple, it's just a long ball up that De Jong wins. Sabari runs in behind him, takes a decent touch and just tries to toe poke the finish. I think the ball's just getting away from him and he can't get the composed
finish. That's the reason he's stretching, but it's a fabulous flick on from Luke De Jong. The movement is really good again, gets himself into a good position, takes the touch past the Rangers defender, but then he is really stretching. It's a toe poke, as you rightly say, Richard. Thankfully just a foot wide of the post.
Going back into last season, PSV have only lost 1 of their last 25 games. That was to Leicester City in the Europa Conference League quarter-finals. They were knocked out last season. They were knocked out of the Champions League last term by Benfica in the qualifiers. Rangers were losing to Malmo. Barisic picks up and fires it forward to Kent on the turn. One of these teams is going to be disappointed again in this competition. It's out of play for a throw-in on this near side to PSV to be taken by Taze.
I'm telling you, Taze's eyes would have lit up there because he was all over Ryan Kent. Ryan Kent did not want that pass from Barisic. To be fair to Barisic, it's the only place he could go, but good defending.
Brilliantly worked back there by Tillman. Davis tries to get it back into his stride. It's defended calmly there, this time by Obispo, who goes back to his keeper, and Benitez fires it forward with the left foot first time. Flicked on by De Jong, who's wanting a free kick there, I think, inside the centre circle. Comes all the way through to McLaughlin. As we approach 55 minutes at Ibrox, Rangers 1, PSV Eindhoven 1.
You have to say, De Jong in the air, he is exceptional. Most things that have come up to him aerially, and Connor Goldson's, you know, quite a big guy to be able to beat in there, but he's won his fair share for sure.
Yeah, Dutch international, scored 3 in the recent World Cup qualifiers, did Luc de Jong. He was on target for Barcelona 6 times in a loan spell last season, including against Real Madrid. As Goldson picks up inside his own half and up towards the centre circle, he elects to square it to Sands. Sands then moves it out to Barisic wide on this left-hand side, and now it's back with Sands. Squares it to Goldson. Long ball coming up from Connor Goldson, pumps it out to that far side. Too much on it for Tavernier. Sails over his head and out for a PSV throw-in in the 56th minute of the first leg of this Champions League playoff, when it's 1-1.
It's very, very tight, isn't it, Richard?
It's back to that kind of edginess we've seen at the start of the first half. No one really wants to push themselves forward.
PSV in possession. Taze out wide right here for Saibari. Infield to... It's difficult when you're talking 100 miles an hour, my man. As PSV pick out on the left-hand side with Gutierrez. Forward to Max, works it back into the channel there, and there's a free kick coming, and there's a yellow card coming for Connor Goldson as he brings down Gakpo.
Are you going to say he tries to pull out the tackle?
Yeah, he does, but I think he kind of gets up for the way he gesticulates with De Jong. So obviously, he really complains to the referee that De Jong should be booked. And I think maybe that's in the referee's mind. So the first foul he gives away now...
I mean, there's no doubt it's a foul.
Yeah, it's a foul, but...
Gakpo's pace.
Maybe he has a book at that area of the pitch, but I just it seemed like he was really quick to want to give that yellow card there.
A couple of PSV players in the book. Obispo and De Jong. And Connor Goldson, who's not one of the players in danger of a yellow card, at least tonight, of missing the second leg in the Netherlands next week. Sands and Lawrence are. The PSV, more pertinently right now, with a free kick about 25 yards from goal. It's left of centre. They've got a couple over it. They've got an opportunity here to try and test John McLaughlin. Three-man Rangers wall. Here it goes, a shot over the bar though. Pretty comfortably over the bar from Joey Fearman. And it stays Rangers 1, PSV 1, 57.5 on the clock at Ibrox.
You're going to do well to beat John McLaughlin from that distance, especially the way he hit it. And there wasn't any real pace on it, just kind of floated over the bar.
Great touch by Tillman again to Kent. Forward to Cholak. Cholak takes a touch, moves it out to this near side, intelligently rolls it back to Lundstrom, steps away from Fearman, short ball to Davis. Side foot ball from Davis is poor. He's given it straight to Cody Gakpo, who has it into his stride on the far side. He's been brought down. The referee might bring it back. He has done. Well, I think certainly within the referee's remit there to bring that one back, because it was only one pass later the move broke down. So free kick for PSV, and Stephen Davis perhaps fortunate he's not been yellow carded himself there.
Yeah, it was uncharacteristic of him to give the ball away. Just a short one out to Tavernier. Gakpo pounced, and Davis that tried to go over to stop him. Definite foul.
Really wet night here in Glasgow. The rain continuing to tumble down. Gutierrez takes the free kick to Max, back to Gutierrez. Under pressure from Davis, he plays it back to Fearman and moves it infield. Vispa with the long big switch to Taze, who's in acres of space again, wide on the right hand side, attacking the Rangers box along the 18-yard line. The first time effort over the crossbar there was hit first time by Saibari. He's had 2 opportunities in the second half of this first leg. 59 played, it stays 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, it's good play. I think there's a miscommunication between Barisic and Kent, and I think as Saibari initially goes inside the pitch and Barisic goes all the way with him, Kent is also inside the pitch. So that allows a big switch over to Taze. And then it's a decent cutback, but he's got a lot to do from there, Thomas. It's a difficult
You still
chance.
expect him to hit the target. I mean, it's coming at him at a wee bit of pace, and on this surface it's tough, but down is a decent enough chance.
Yeah, it was 18 yards from goal when he hit that. Saibari, Rangers trying to get it clear. Sands onto the chest of Tillman. He turns it back to Barisic. He's had some lovely touches tonight, Malik Tillman. That wasn't a great touch by Barisic. He just passed it straight out of play. PSV throw in midway inside Rangers territory on this near side. We're ticking towards the hour mark here in this first leg with the scoreline at 1-1. Here's De Jong out wide right onto this near side for Saibari. Back it comes to Ramalho, who turns it into the centre circle inside his own half. There for Obispo. Infield to the PSV goal scorer is Sangare, who's back onto it here. He rolls it back the way. Obispo under pressure from Tillman. Finds Sangare though. Out to the left for Gutierrez. He plays it back off himself in the end. Tavernier then back off him and out for a Rangers throw-in. Tavernier takes it quickly, finds Davis. Now back with James Tavernier. Clip ball, looking for Colak. Wonderful first touch. Colak into the box. Well defended though. Importantly defended by Obispo, who managed to beat Colak in his own game there. The first touch was wonderful. Couldn't do much else with that, Antonio Colak, the Rangers goal scorer.
Yeah, I mean, the first touch is absolutely sensational. He's a bit to pull the trigger, and you have to say the recovery run and tackle from Obispo was sensational.
There's Max to the left.
Fantastic defending there, but again, you know, Rangers kind of dealt with a decent spell of possession from PSV, hit them on a quick attack, and Colak nearly get in.
Saibari, left-hand side of the Rangers box, looks up, shoots, saved by McLaughlin, who holds on as well. He too waited for the pullback. Gakpo and De Jong were waiting in the box. And now John McLaughlin's delighted he had a go at it himself as the Rangers keeper holds on. 61.5 on the clock. Rangers 1, PSV 1.
Yeah, Goldson and Kent are having a bit of a discussion of who should take him. I think Goldson wanted Kent to follow the run all the way in, but you know, in those situations, you don't want Ryan Kent back in your box defending. I think Goldson has to just kind of see the run a bit earlier and get a little bit closer.
That's PSV have had the last 3 opportunities of note in this game of football. It stays 1-1 though. Here's Davis, long, looking for Lawrence. Max is underneath it, gets it away. And then a dramatic fall to the ground by Ramalho there. He was challenging Colak, he's not happy. PSV play on Gutierrez out wide left to Philip Max, who's driving down that left-hand side infield to Gakpo. Gakpo up against Tavernier. Moves away from him, moves away from Davis. It's going to end up with Saibari at the edge of the box again. Out wide right for Taze. His cross is cut out. It's going to go out for a throw-in to PSV, a bit level with the Rangers 6-yard line on this near side. 62.5 on the clock at 1-1.
They're just starting to move the ball a wee bit quicker at PSV. Really knocking it about. It's been a poor spell for Rangers this last 5-10 minutes.
Short throw-in, which was taken by Taze. It's now with Sangare. Back out to Saibari and the near side. Good skill, gets away from Barisic, but it goes over the line, and that'll be a goal kick to Rangers.
That was nearly incredible skill.
Great skill.
I've never seen that before. It was fantastic. But yeah, Rangers just need to stay in the game.
Goldson gets away with one at the edge of his own box. Of course, Rangers insisting on playing it out from the back there, and they're giving it away. Here's Philip Max. They do not want to give this class of opponent any kind of encouragement.
Tell you what, if I'm Connor Goldson or one of the back 4, I'm giving McLaughlin absolute pelters.
Some of the passes he's given them.
Is there any chance he's just going to slow the game down? They've been getting a bit of a doing for the last 5 minutes. Just slow the game down. But he wants to fire the ball out as quick as he can, gives him a pass 5 yards away, invites pressure, they lose the ball, and thankfully they've got the ball back now. But just don't invite pressure in this moment. Just get yourself through this little spell and feel your way back into the game again.
Yeah, take the sting out of it. Lundstrom's giving it away this time, straight to Sangare. Here's De Jong, back to Gutierrez. The guys are saying this is a poor spell for Rangers. They will hope they are not punished for it. But that's a poor pass from Max, and it goes out for a Rangers throw. And you hear the fans just trying to get their team up for this again, because it's been a difficult period. 64 played, it remains 1-1. Throw-in Rangers over on the far side to be taken by Tavernier. Remember, on Thursday it's FC Zurich against Heart of Midlothian, 6 o'clock kickoff. That's in the Europa League playoffs. and Zurich sitting bottom of the Swiss top flight, having won the title last season. Live here in Sportsound, live at BBC Scotland television as well. 6 o'clock start, that match being played in St Gallen rather than Zurich. Hearts looking to get in the Europa League, Rangers looking to get into the Champions League. It's 1-1 here, another poor ball. This time it's Barisic, now it's Gutierrez. This pass goes straight to James Sands, who manages to find Davis. Sands is fouled by Sangare, and that will calm things down a little bit here. Almost 65 minutes in at 1-1. Just wonder how much longer Giovanni Van Bronckhorst waits before making changes. It's difficult in this kind of scenario, but as you're saying, they're getting beaten up a little bit here.
Yeah, they are, and they just need to, you know, at the moment, the players on the pitch need to find a way to get through this little next spell, because you can see PSV growing in confidence, as Tom spoke about. They're moving the ball really quickly, 1-touch, 2-touch passing, and Rangers are struggling. So just take this thing out of the game. I don't know whether he should go to the 3 at the back. I don't know whether that invites more pressure on Rangers, but it's probably something he's thinking about because it has worked for them so far. But I just think the Rangers need to just settle themselves back down again and feel their way back into the game.
Yeah, because there's another goal in this for them as well, if they can steady the ship. Trouble is, there's another goal in it for PSV. There always is with this team, free-flowing in the infancy of the season. Kicked 5 past Ajax on their way to a Super Cup win. They actually beat Ajax to win the Dutch Cup last season into Kuip in Rotterdam. Came from behind to do so, as Sangare picks up and prods it back to his goalkeeper. Short from Benitez, there to Obispo, driving up towards the halfway line. Short with the right foot to Philip Max on the left. Back to Obispo, now with Gutierrez to Max. Gutierrez in field to Veerman. Obispo back out wide, and he's put it out for a Rangers throw-in. 66 played, 1-1. The Rangers bench: McGregor, McCrory, the sub-goalies: Yilmaz, Jack, Matondo, Kamara, Morelos, Wright, Sakala, Arfield, King and Devine. That's the Rangers bench. There's some quality as well on the PSV bench. Like Xavi Simons, Gustil, Marco van Ginkel. As Rangers pick up, and it's now Lundstrom forward to Tillman. They can get the ball to Tillman more. He's been superb, and he's driven away from Sangare. Driving in the box, he's got Kent and loads of space on the near side. Goes himself, it's weak, and the keeper holds on. And Ryan Kent's looking down at his feet, wondering why is the ball not in front of him. 67 minutes on the clock. Rangers 1, PSV 1.
He's got to pass it. I mean, it's brilliant from Tillman initially to get away from the midfielder, driving at the heart of the PSV defence, gets down about 20 yards, and Čolak has decent movement for him, but Kent to the left-hand side is free. If he just lifts his head and slips him in, surely Kent's got a shot and goal. He goes for it himself, and he wasn't really set for the shot.
No, it was similar to the one in the first half. He does so well, taking the ball on his back foot and moving away from but then you could kind of see that he wasn't really sure what to do. He obviously wants to shoot, but Kent's in a far better position. Just get to where you are. Just that underweight the pass to Kent, so you can step onto it with his right foot, but you've got to pass the ball there, or you've got to score.
Rangers are going to make a change in just a moment. And quite see who it is right coming on. Is it right? Yeah, is it 23? Here come Rangers. PSV giving it away. Tillman goes down. Referee comes across. Free kick Rangers. Might be a card coming here as well. It is for Saibari, the Moroccan, who's caused problems in the second half up the other end of the pitch. 68 played. It's Rangers 1, PSV 1. It's going to be a double change for Rangers. Glenn Kamara is going to be on as well in just a moment.
I thought Saibari done quite well there. Just got his body in and eased him out the way, but the referee gave the free kick, and then inevitably he books him, because obviously you've seen it as a promising attack. But yeah, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see who Scott Wright comes on for, because Tillman has just kind of flashed to life in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, you would think, given his heroics last week as well, you would think he'll be staying on. Yeah, he's not been in it in the second half, has he?
He hasn't. He's been quietly in.
Saibari booked in. He was the guy who Calvin Bassey clobbered on his Ajax debut in that Super Cup victory. PSV at the start of the season, unbeaten the start to the campaign, banging the goals in. And, they might wait till after this free kick before making the double change. Rangers, it is Lawrence who's over at 69 on the clock. It's 1-1.
Tell you what, if he puts this in the top corner, he won't be coming off.
Puts this in the top corner. Just listen to this place. Lawrence hits it from distance. Oh, the goalkeeper smelled it! It's over the line! It's over the line! Tom Lawrence
shot straight at the goalkeeper Benitez. It bounces in front of him, maybe awkwardly, but there is no excuse from the goalkeeper there. That is a massive error as it spills out of his grasp and goes about 6 inches over the line. Just looking to see whether you're going to be right or wrong about Lawrence coming off here now that he's scored this free kick. Wasn't quite in the top corner though.
Yeah, so exactly. So he can't really complain if he comes off now because he only just got the ball over the line.
Right, it's Tillman who's going to come off for Scott Wright. Glenn Kamara will come on as well. We'll get the substitutions out the way and then we'll just reflect on that incredible moment there. There's goalkeeping blunders and then there's goalkeeping blunders, and that could potentially be a £40 million blunder by the new goalkeeper for PSV, Walter Benitez. Stephen Davis is replaced by Glenn Kamara. What a moment. It's just wriggled away from him, just slithered away. The greasy ball on a wet night in Glasgow. And Rangers lead this Champions League playoff. How they would love a lead to take to the Netherlands next week.
Yeah, it'd be a fantastic result. It's a horrible one for the goalkeeper. It's one, it's one of those where goalkeepers, when they make mistakes, inevitably it leads to a goal because obviously they're the last line of defence. But if that was an outfield player, he'd have taken a touch with that free kick. It was, you know what I mean?
It dipped a bit. I mean, it was a bit awkward. I'm not going to try and defend the goalie, but I mean, it's a terrible mistake. But it did kind of dip on a night like tonight when your gloves are greasy and wet. But it doesn't really matter how it goes in.
No, Rangers fans won't care. Tom Lawrence
absolutely
won't care. Not. And I tell you what, it came at a good time.
Well, Tom Lawrence, was he fouled on the far side? The Rangers fans think so. So does the Italian referee. Now, can Rangers make hay while they are in the lead, beginning to get themselves on top in this game as well? And a little touch of fortune like that, a little break like that, can make all the difference in a knife-edge tie like this one.
Well, yeah, they hadn't been the better team in the second half. If anything, PSV had upped the tempo, upped the quality with a couple of efforts in goal as well.
PSV looked the more likely, that's for sure. Goldson's long ball's cleared by Obispo. Rangers pick up the loose ball with Tavernier on the right-hand side. Runs into Max, though, he defends it well. The Germany international gets it clear. Comes through De Jong. The referee's going to stop the play. There's an injury to a visiting player. 72 minutes on the clock. Rangers 2, PSV 1. And the PSV bench are unhappy with one or two things that are going on out on the pitch. And Ruud van Nistelrooy just making his way back to his dugout down below us. It's his old international teammate Giovanni van Bronckhorst, whose team have their noses in front in this Champions League playoff. 72.5 minutes into the first leg. Rangers 2, PSV 1. And Tom Lawrence taking the credit for the goal. As you can understand, he was excellent against Saint-Gilloise last week. And we just finished saying, Stephen, that he'd faded out of this game in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in the second half performance, just as Richard said, Tillman was starting to actually look threatening again, driving with the ball. Lawrence had been slightly quieter out on that right-hand side. However, you know, all that really doesn't matter now. And you just listen to this crowd, it's hard to even hear yourself talk.
Yeah, I mean, the Champions League football's definitely returning to Glasgow, that's for sure. It could be that both the big clubs in the city have Champions League football to look forward to. The atmospheres here in Celtic Park and European nights are something to behold, that is for sure. As Kamara turns it out wide right for Tavernier. Good first touch, gets the cross in, headed away by Obispo. And a break back to Tavernier. Rangers smell blood here. I think there might be another goal in it. Here's Wright in the box, turns it back on. It's been taken away from Lawrence by Cholak unintentionally. As Saibari comes forward, he finds Fearman in the centre circle, and his pass is wayward and out of play. It goes for a throw-in to Rangers on the far side. Rangers leading 2-1, 16 of the 90 remaining, and they're up against a side that hasn't lost a game away from home since they were beaten in Anoeta in San Sebastian by Real Sociedad last December in the Europa League. So, pretty big achievement if Rangers can inflict the first away defeat on this PSV team since December last year. without defeat on their travels this calendar year.
Anytime Rangers inject a bit of pace in the forward areas, they look dangerous. PSV look like they're struggling to contain them.
Free kick PSV, De Jong goes down over on the far side. It's before the midway point of the Rangers half, wide on the left. Approaching the final 15 minutes here on Sportsound. BBC Radio Scotland on digital, online, bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland, 810 medium wave, and BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker. It is a free kick to PSV as they look to react. They led this one. They led this one through Sangare, cancelled out within 3 minutes, just over that by Cholak, and Tom Lawrence with a free kick to make it 2-1, albeit he's owed the goalkeeper one because Benitez let it squirm through his fingertips as Max takes the free kick, bends it in towards the back post. De Jong will get there, turns it back to the 6-yard area, cleared by Goldson, more height than distance. Sangare trying to take it down, it breaks to De Jong across the face of the box, going to break out to that left hand side. There's still an opportunity for PSV. Chip cross headed away by Borna Barisic, and Kent completes the clearance, and it stays Rangers 2, PSV Eindhoven 1 at Ibrox.
Really good defending there from Borna Barisic. Smells the danger, goes back onto the line. It's a fabulous floated ball in. He did so well to get it clear.
The Rangers have put some European football giants to the sword here in recent times. Even if they don't win the game, they win ties. Borussia Dortmund was a draw here after the 4-goal haul in the Westfalen last season. And PSV are going to look to their bench for the first time, 76.5 minutes in. Rangers lead it by 2-1. It's Max on the left-hand side, midway inside the Rangers half. Cody Gakpo has been kept relatively quiet, you would have to say, overall, certainly in this second half. The Rangers clearance goes straight to Max, and then it's going to break into the midfield here for Joey Veerman. He's got Taze out wide on the right, low ball to him, picks up on the right foot, moves it back in field to Veerman, and then out to the right-hand side for Saibari. Short to Taze inside the penalty area he goes. Barisic for company, good challenge by Barisic, and Sands puts it out at the expense of a PSV Eindhoven corner on this near side. 13 minutes of the 90 left with Rangers leading by 2-1.
Just got to make sure you're switched on now, you know, just over 10 minutes to go, another corner. I don't want to repeat what happened in that first half.
Cody Gakpo's over it. It's on the main stand side, off to our right as PSV attack the goal to the right. Gakpo, outswinger, in it comes into the box, a header, it's a goal! Headed into the net by Obispo. The corner came in from the right, straight on top of the head of the centre-back, who nods it in off the underside of the crossbar, and into the net it goes. Armando Obispo draws Eindhoven level. Rangers 2, PSV 2.
I mean, it's a fantastic ball in from the corner, and it's a great leap and a great header, but it looks to me as if he's unchallenged. He's got a running ahead on the ball, there's nobody seems to be near him. He gets up above everybody else, and you know, he gets a great connection. I actually thought it was going to come off the underside of the bar, bounce back out, but fantastic header. But it's just really poor. I mean, Tomo just spoke about it there. Don't do what you've done in the first half and concede a cheap goal from a corner.
See, to lose 2 goals from corners at this level of football, you know, it's sacrilege. You cannot do it, and especially with, I mean, the header, yes, he might be free, but it's a fabulous, fabulous header to get it back into that underside of the bar in the far corner. A great header.
He's coming off.
But you cannot, it's unforgivable. If you're cut open by brilliance by a team, a piece of skill, a bit of magic, then fine. Not from 2 corner kicks.
They've made the change and they've brought him off. He's just scored. Obispo. He's been replaced by Jared Branthwaite, Englishman who's from Carlisle. He's on loan from Everton. And he's a giant as well. He goes to left centre back.
Obispo must be gutted because he did put it in the top corner.
Yeah, and straight off. 11 minutes to play, 2 apiece. As Kent plays it back to James Sands. And then to Goldson. Back to James Sands. 2-2. Can Rangers find another goal and take a lead into the second leg next week? Sands forward to Tom Lawrence. Back to Barisic. The Rangers fans wanted that played forward.
Should have turned.
It's out to Kent on the near side, gets it from Barisic. Moves infield, finds Lundstrom. Throws it to Kamara. Kamara then rolls it out wide right there for Tavernier. Infield to Kamara. Kamara then back out to this near side for Barisic, heading towards the final 10 minutes of the first leg. It's Lawrence on the near side, out of play, PSV throw. And Taze applauds the decision by the Italian officials. Lawrence protests. It looked certainly from where we are as though that was the correct call, as Taze prepares to take the throw and level with the edge of the D of his own box. And we're into the final 10 minutes of this Champions League playoff first leg with the scoreline at 2-2.
It's going to be an issue in this second leg, picking up from corner kicks, because you look at this PSV side, they have got real height.
Huge, yeah.
Real height in this team, so it has to be fixed for next Wednesday.
And real quality of the ball coming in as well.
Need to watch for the last 10 minutes, probably in all likelihood 13 or 14 minutes still to play here tonight.
Yeah, I think this is the worst score that Rangers need to get out here with. If you want to go across to Eindhoven and give yourself any chance in the tie, do not go over there having lost this home tie.
And having the chase.
Yeah.
Free kick for the home team to be taken by Ramalho on this near side. He's experienced the atmosphere at Celtic Park before. He was a Salzburg player. He's faced Celtic 4 times in Europa League football. PSV centre-back, the Brazilian, will take this free kick. It's a long one, pumped forward to the edge of the Rangers box. De Jong wins yet another header. Gakpo goes after it. Is there a free kick? No, says the ref. It's play on. PSV in possession with Taze. Rolls it into Veerman. Scoops it up to this near side, headed away by Barisic. Is PSV with Joey Veerman, level with the penalty spot of Rangers, moves it back infield. Taze picks up, fires it in to the feet of Gakpo. He turns it back to Gutierrez, a reverse ball. Max is in here. Good goalkeeper by McLaughlin, who slides out to make the block. So crucial. Rangers were sliced open there with one pass. It stays 2-2.
That pass from Gutierrez, that's even better than Steve Davis's pass in the first half.
Here come Rangers up the other end. Tavernier, right-hand side of the box, wins the corner.
The quality
Rangers
of that
all
pass,
of a sudden burst into life.
The quality of the pass through there for Max, as Richard points out, was absolutely scary. What you have to say is how quickly John McLaughlin got off his line to smother it. It was brilliant goalkeeping from him.
I think if the left back takes a touch, McLaughlin's
goes past him.
Yeah. I think if that's a striker, he's taking a touch
that's
there.
That's a very important save.
But another big save. We've seen it against Union to keep it 2-0, not 3. Another big save from McLaughlin.
Yeah, he did well. Rangers corner, outswinger from Tavernier from that far side in front of the PSV fans, and it comes. Headed away, back out to Tavernier it comes. Lawrence out for company if he wants him. He uses Lawrence. His cross takes a deflection into the box, headed half away. Kamara doesn't get a touch to the edge of the box, but Tavernier will. Tavernier rolls it to Cholak. Cholak with an ambitious effort, which was along the deck and blocked. And out it goes off Taze for a Rangers throw-in, level with the edge of the D of the PSV box. In the 83rd minute of the game, where it's balanced at 2 apiece. Here's Ryan Kent on this near side, rolling it back to Barisic, infield to Lundstrom. He plays it into the centre circle for Goldson, patient from Rangers here. Out to Tavernier, and then Kamara. I think it's safe to say there's going to be goals next week in the second leg in Eindhoven. Here's Barisic. He's in the PSV half, rolls it infield to Lundstrom. He in turn looks for Lawrence, it's loose though. Ramalho gets on to it. De Jong wins the header, finds Veerman, moves it back infield. Sangare brought to the ground by Lawrence, and that'll be a free kick to PSV inside their own half, just to the right of the centre circle. So that Rangers attack comes to nothing, and it stays Rangers 2, PSV 2.
Tell you what, Sangare's been outstanding tonight. Yeah, the positions he takes up, he wins the ball. He's possibly one of the most composed players I've ever seen. Like, he's got 3 men running at him and he just takes a touch. He's strong. I think he's obviously scored the goal. I know it was a bit fortuitous, but fantastic performance from him tonight.
He joined for a couple of years in 2021, and he impressed so much last season they gave him a 5-year contract. You can see why they'd want to protect him, because he's a real asset for them. Financially, yes, but on the pitch, he's a monstrous midfield performer. You can tell just watching his performance tonight. He scored the PSV opener as Kent gets it back to Barisic, and then Sands under pressure, has to put it out for a PSV throw-in. Level with the edge of the Rangers box on this near side. 84.5 on the clock. Rangers 2, PSV 2.
It's another situation they play themselves in a bit of bother. But you know, the kind of refusal just to clear the ball up the pitch, and they end up, the ball goes out for a PSV throw. You know what, 25 yards from their own goal.
It's a poor one there from PSV, and Saibari's put it out. It's going to be a throw into Rangers, which Barisic will take. Heading towards the final 5 minutes of the 90 here on Sports Sound, under the lights at Ibrox now. Champions League playoff first leg, 2 apiece. It's tight, as Ronald de Boer told us it would be. Sangare gets a touch on to it, turns it back here to Branthwaite, who moves it back to the edge of his own box. Short by the goalkeeper Benitez, will be partially relieved by that equaliser from Obispo, which made it 2-2 after his error, and that's Scott Wright playing it out for a corner unless McLaughlin can prevent it. He has done. Good play by John McLaughlin. Flicked on by Wright. Kamara then flicks on as well, looking for Cholak, where referee's given it PSV's way over on the far side. No further movement on the Rangers bench. Could be that Van Bronckhorst is happy to go with what he has for the remainder of this game.
Tonight's man of the match is number 11.
Almost 86 minutes played. 2 apiece. As Tom Lawrence gets the home man of the match here at Ibrox tonight. Rangers in action at the weekend. They've got a trip to Easter Road. Full coverage across the weekend of all the SPFL action. Free kick into the box, goes all the way through to John McLaughlin, who holds on, underarm, bowls it to Lundstrom. Looks up, he's looking for Ryan Kent here. It's an ambitious one. He's found him though. Kent gets the touch, moves back to the halfway line and rolls it back to Barisic down this near side. He in turn goes back into his own box for Sands. Along the 18-yard line to Goldson. Goldson looks up, long right foot, raking pass. Wright will give chase. Branthwaite heads it away. It's Max gets there ahead of Cholak, who brings down Max. Referee's allowing PSV to play on. Ramalho with the long ball on this near side will bounce away there from Saibari and out for a Rangers throw-in taken by Barisic. Crucial point in this tie, this one. Any goal scored now could make all the difference come the close of business round about this time next week. 2-2, unless it goes to extra time, of course. We shall see how long the night is in South Netherlands next week. The Rangers travel to Eindhoven for the second leg. Connor Goldson's long ball. Max wins the header. Infield, Ramalho clears with the left foot. Goldson gets there, brought down by De Jong, who is on a yellow card. Goldson still in the deck. The referee, I think, has eventually given Rangers the free kick. Doesn't look as though a second yellow's coming for Luke De Jong. 49,090 inside Ibrox tonight's the official attendance, which has just been announced. 87.5 on the clock. Rangers 2, PSV 2, and Rangers have a free kick level with the edge of the centre circle, right of centre, and James Tavernier's going to be over it. It's so finely balanced.
You look along that line of PS defenders, they are absolutely huge.
You'd still fancy mixing it with them though, wouldn't you?
I'd like to be given the chance, yeah. A bit past it now, though.
Just a bit. Tavernier takes the free kick, headed away by Ramalho, breaks to Kent, level with the 6-yard line, back to Lawrence. Little touch away by Saibari, goes out for a throw-in on the near side. Kent takes it quickly. 2 minutes left of the 90. 2-2 is the scoreline. Barisic back into the centre circle for Sands. Sands out to Tavernier. There's no need to twist at this stage in a tie, but if you think you can get the goal that can make all the difference, then try and find it. As Tavernier wins a throw-in on the far side, bowls it to Wright, he gets onto it but then loses out and then brings his man down on the far side of the box. Gutierrez, and PSV will have a free kick deep inside their own half, and it will stay 2-2 as we head towards minute 90 of this first leg.
I think they've been a little bit guilty of being too frantic. They're a little bit too frantic. Now 2-2 is not a bad result.
Do you think that is psychological because they've had so many second legs here at Ibrox? It's almost as if that's how they perform in a European game here.
You could be right. They feel like they need to go and win tonight. They need to go. They don't. You know. Just don't lose the tie tonight, which they haven't done.
They're trying to land a haymaker tonight when they don't necessarily need one.
Yeah, and I think in certain occasions, slow the game down. You know, keep the ball for a bit. I know the crowd get a little bit edgy, a little bit frustrated, and they've been a little bit slack at times at the back. But keep the ball and try and work your opportunity. But I'll go back to what I said in the first half. I think they missed that calmness in midfield as soon as you take Davis off.
Yeah, as Goldson clears, Lundstrom was in trouble in the middle of the pitch. We had curled through the final minute of the 90. Header from Barisic, he was fouled. Free kick Rangers, about midway inside their own half. Two managers and Giovanni van Bronckhorst, Van Nistelrooy, edge of their technical areas. Van Bronckhorst just been told what the injury time is. We have to wait another few seconds.
Gone for 3 minutes.
Now, you got a preview, didn't you? He pressed the button to see what the number was.
Not at all, not at all.
3 minutes. We're into the first of those. You're at it, Thompson. As usual, as John McLaughlin takes the free kick. Long header from Tavernier. He's done brilliantly. Colak goes after it. The defender, Brantwaite, a little bit of the shirt there. He's a bit fortunate. Colak could potentially have made more of that if he was aware. It's back in the centre circle, Lundstrom.
He shouldn't have to make more of it, because if it's a pull in the box on his shirt...
Well, they can check it, of course. VAR's. We saw a penalty check in the first half. There probably wasn't enough of a tug or a pull there. The letter of the law, who knows, would know about it by now if it was, as Lawrence, misunderstanding McKent, passes it straight out of the pitch. And that's going to be a throw into PSV on this near side. It's been another breathless night here at Ibrox, as you would expect on a European night here, when the stakes are so high. Champions League place, all the money that comes with it, the prestige for the players as well, and the small matter of the fact that Celtic are also in the group stage of the Champions League. Rangers looking to keep up appearances as Wright stabs it forward, driving down the far side. Brantwaite gets there first and boots it into the stand on the far side. They played about a minute and a half of the injury time. 2 apiece. Goldson in his own half switches the play to Barisic under no pressure, out to Kent wide in the left. Can Rangers find a winning goal on the night? Kent, he's away from 1, he's away from 2, he's away from 3, couldn't get away from 4. Plays it straight off Taze, who's now driving forward at pace, and he's going to carry it out for a throw-in. Rangers might get one last opportunity. We're about to move into the final minute of the first leg of this Champions League playoff. 2 apiece it is. Barisic back to Sands.
He's so good when he does that, Ryan Kent. He goes by 3 players there as if they're not even there. He just actually, he ended up getting outdone, because I think it was 4 and 5 defenders come across them.
Ryan Kent back in field to Lundstrom. Rangers ending the game on the front foot, but can they force an opportunity? Sands rolling it out to Goldson on the far side. Goldson calmly out to the touchline for Tavernier. Just over 30 seconds left. Kamara back towards Tavernier. Tavernier can't get it into his stride, but it breaks back favourably for Kamara, who loses out in the midfield to Sangare. Out wide right though for Rangers. Right, wrong option. He needed to cross into the box. He went for the short pass and gives it away. That might be it as far as the goals are concerned in this first leg. As Barisic puts it out for a PSV throw-in. Ruud van Nistelrooy applauding Saibari, because he knows he's not going to lose this game tonight. They will go on home to the Netherlands, host Rangers at the Philips Stadium next week, and know that they are not behind with their home leg still to come. 2 apiece. I make it time up. PSV have a man down right now. It's Sagare. The game's over. Game's over here just about.
I mean, it's been an interesting match. It's kind of ebbed and flowed from both teams having spells of control. Nobody's really dominated the match as we expected, very tight. Rangers will be disappointed with the goals that they've lost.
Well, yeah, time added on and time added on. Eventually the referee does blow 30 seconds after the 3 minutes ended. Van Bronckhorst, Van Nistelrooy embraced down in the touchline. For so many years they were colleagues in the Netherlands national team. And what a superb Netherlands national team it was. Scotland know that to their cost after that infamous playoff for Euro 2004. When it finishes all square after the first leg here at Ibrox, another frantic, frenetic night. It always is in these European nights. Rangers battling back from behind. Sangare putting PSV in front on 37. But a wonderful interchange between Davis, Tavernier and Colak led to Rangers equalising within a few minutes. Colak steering it into the bottom left corner, and it was 1-1 at half-time. Tom Lawrence with a free kick on 70 minutes made it 2-1, but he owes a lot to Walter Benitez, the PSV goalkeeper, who let it squirm away from him. It's a wet surface. He couldn't deal with it. It crept over the line. It was obviously over the line. There was no need for the tech, and that made it 2-1 to Rangers. But their lead lasted 8 minutes, a little bit longer than PSV stood right enough. But they'll still be disappointed because both goals they conceded tonight were from corners. And Obispo, the centre-back, meeting the Gakpo delivery from this near side, bulleting the header in off the underside of the bar into the top left corner to ensure that this first leg ends all square. Rangers very much so in the mix for a place in the Champions League groups, the draw for which is made a week on Thursday. But before that, it will be the second leg in southern Netherlands when Rangers make what is, as far as the club is concerned, a relatively familiar European jaunt to the city of Eindhoven. And that decisive leg as they try and end a more than decade-long wait for a place at European football's top table. It finishes here on the night at Ibrox after the first leg of this Champions League playoff. Rangers 2, PSV Eindhoven 2.